An NPS Arrowhead logo on a black background. Text on screen reads Emilio Sweet-Coll, Artist in Residence, July 2025. A young man with glasses and a black shirt sits on a rocky beach with shrubs behind him.
Hi, I'm Emilio Sweet-Coll. I'm the Artist in Residence here at Glacier for the month of July, and I'm working on a couple different projects. One is a flipbook animation of a great blue heron using drawings from a bunch of different participants, all visitors. And I'm also working on a project, a longer extended project about animating bird sounds. So sort of what they look like in my mind, if that makes sense. So I started getting into birds when I was really little. I didn't know I needed glasses and I couldn't really see the birds super well, so I learned a lot of birds by ear where I grew up. And when I was older, I got into animation and I was really inspired by music and sound in general. And when I started developing the concept of what I was going to do in a national park residency, I started applying years ago, like maybe 2018, maybe 2017. And when I started developing that idea, I figured I should apply what I've been doing, which is called visual music, essentially. So composing animation the way you'd compose music with like layers and textures instead of a story necessarily. I decided maybe I could apply that to bird sounds because I like birds and I like bird sounds. So that's where that idea sort of came about, and I started doing that project in Acadia National Park. That was my first residency in a national park a couple of years ago, and I'm doing the same thing here. So some birds are the same, some are really different, and I'm excited to develop the project further as time goes on and I get to hopefully see more places.
Emilio is now sitting outside a cabin at the foot of a staircase, with trees and the lake behind him.
So the process of making an animation of bird sounds starts with getting the recording of the bird sounds. I've used other people's recordings in the past, but I wanted to make sure I was understanding what a normal visitor to Glacier might hear, and not just sort of hearing the coolest bird recordings and using those. So I spent a lot of time hiking and recording birds on hikes, and I would go out and do a bunch of recording, and then I'd come home and process it, which is basically like take notes on the quality of the sound recording, what bird it was, and then draw out a little bit of what the bird's sound looks like to me, if that makes sense. So I'll show you that. One example in my notebook.
Emilio picks up his notebook to show the camera a close-up. On the page are meticulous notes of bird songs recorded on different days, with the species and little drawings that act as visual representations of the bird songs. Some are jagged, others are sinuous, others look like branches or ripples in water.
So this was the first recording I got in the park of a red-eyed vireo. And it was a pretty good recording. It was 28 seconds long. It was clear and it was by itself. And since their song is pretty variable, this is what the whole 28 seconds looked like to me. It's kind of like musical notation, if that makes sense. Like, this is the first one, the second one, third one. So they were all in sequence. And I ended up actually animating that. Most of these I didn't end up animating yet, but here's some attempts at a Swainson's thrush, like what the beginning of the song looks like to me, and then the end. It has sort of two parts, so I was like trying to figure out what the first part could look like and the second part. I got a pretty decent recording of 3 different birds kind of all together. A white-throated sparrow, so like, these 2 first long notes, and then the different notes at the end, and then the like sort of chips of the cedar waxwing, what those different ones sounded like to me. And yeah, I noted here, like, I was hearing Swainson's thrushes everywhere, so I have to prioritize animating that. It's also really beautiful, so I'll talk about Swainson's a little more. The Swainson's thrush I heard all throughout the park, and it's really beautiful. I think it's probably my favorite song in Glacier. And because I heard it everywhere, I was like, I want to prioritize that. But my like normal sketching was like not generating. It wasn't working basically. So I ended up trying to think about like what other stuff I could use. I thought about using the topographical maps. I thought about using drawings of the landscape itself and like kind of animating light sort of moving up the sides of a mountain or something like that. But I spent so much time here by the water, right by the cabin where I'm staying, and I was just watching the water a lot and listening to the Swainson's thrush in the trees behind the cabin, and it's like I think it kind of sounds like the way that water moves to me. So I ended up focusing on that instead of these like sort of little sketches, at least for the Swainson's thrush.
View of Emilio's editing software on his computer, with a shot of waves gently lapping at a shoreline.
So this is some of the slow motion footage of the water that I took right out here outside of the cabin. And I was watching it and listening to the Swainson's thrush and thinking like, what of these little movements sound like it? So I found this one. I like this one a lot. Right here you can kind of see the way that this just little piece of shadow moves. So I brought it in to here, and I just like edited it so it's bigger basically, and edited it to the sound. So this is the clip from Merlin. This is the recording. This is called a spectrogram.
Emilio changes the editing screen to show a smaller window with a gray line that squiggles up from left to right, tracking the pitch of the birdsong.
And this is sort of like a, visualization of like pitch over time. So you can see it. But I'm visualizing it a little bit differently, so I use these two clips of the water.
With one frame at a time of the wave video, Emilio shows how he traced a ripple pattern using white lines on a black background.
Brought those into Photoshop and I drew them basically. So frame by frame, I went in and said, okay, this piece looks like this. You can kind of see without the video what it looks like. And brought it back in, and then, and this is like probably, I want to say like 30 drawings. So there's like this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one. So it's a little time consuming, but really fun. And I brought it back in here, and you can see without the video, this is what the animation looks like.
Emilio plays the animations, which each show a white line drawing of abstract ripples moving across the screen, in sync with the bird songs.
And then there's more animations, so there's this one. Oh. So there's this one. And this one as well. Because the calls are a little different. They sound a little bit different every time, so they just have a different... and they couldn't all be the same, basically. So that's how I got to the Swainson's thrush animation.
He pulls up a different animation project, and white lines squiggle across a black background in time with the bird sounds. Some are angular, some are curved, others are geometric.
This is a clip that I got in 2 Medicine of these 3 birds all going kind of at the same time.
Shot of a tabletop with several sizes of cards, all with marker drawings of a bird in the center at different stages of flight.
So I made this sequence of 17 frames of a great blue heron flying in a cycle so that we could do as many drawings as people wanted to make. This is what it looks like empty. And this is what it looks like with people's drawings on it. I love this one. This one's one of my favorites. So is this. But I really like all of them. People got really creative with it. And yeah, when you put them all together, no matter what size, big or small, they're all together in the final product. It becomes, it looks like a bird flying, basically. So that's what I'll show you on the computer.
Shot of an editing sequence on Emilio's laptop, where he clicks through a series of the drawings one by one, then presses play, and each different drawing combines like a flip book to create a brightly colored sequence of the heron flapping its wings.
So this is what it looks like. I took all these pictures on my phone. This is what it looks like when they're all put together in sequence. And when you play them together, it looks like it's flying. I ended up making this score with an instrument that I brought.
Cut to a shot of Emilio's hand pressing buttons on a panel to create different musical sounds. Then cut back to the animation of the heron flapping.
This is just me playing this instrument. So ended up using that for this. Felt like it captured the feeling of it a little bit.
Cut back to the shot of Emilio outside the cabin at the foot of the steps.
I'm really grateful for the time I've had here. This is my second to last day and I'm feeling a little sore about it. I'm really grateful to the volunteer office for choosing my application and letting me do this. I felt every day like I can't believe they're letting me do this. And I would highly encourage anyone who wants to do an artist residency here or in any other park to apply and keep applying. I think I applied like 5 times or something. So just keep at it, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
Text on screen reads, "To learn more about Glacier's Artist in Residence program, visit www.nps.gov/glac/getinvolved/air.htm."